You only came when I won. Where were you when I was losing? I was drowning in the dark. Now you love me cause I'm proving I could build a life from the pieces you were choosing to leave. I remember nights I couldn't sleep, staring at the ceiling asking God what happened to me. Phone full of numbers but nobody picked up. Funny how a crowded contact list can still leave you stuck. I was broken ways that money couldn't explain, smiling in the pictures while I was dying from the pain. Everybody had advice, nobody had a hand. Everybody said they loved me, nobody tried to understand. I called you when the world got heavy. You told me you were busy, I needed somebody steady, but silence was the answer that you gave me. I wasn't asking you to fix me, I just wanted you beside me. But you disappeared so quickly that I started questioning who was really family. I learned something painful in the years I had to cross. Some people don't miss you, they miss having access to you. And that sentence changed my life. Cause when I had nothing, you couldn't see my worth. But when I found my way back, suddenly you remembered where I live. Now my phone keeps ringing, I don't recognize the names. People asking how I've been, like they didn't watch me change. Where were you when I was praying, just to make it through the day? Where were you when I was breaking, and nobody came? They only came when I won. Only call when I became somebody. Only show love when the world showed love to me. Only stood beside me when there was something they could see. They weren't there when I lost, weren't there when I fell, weren't there when I fought my way out of hell. Now everybody says they're proud of what I've become, but you don't get to celebrate the victory if you abandoned me during the war. Yeah. They only came when I won. I remember wearing the same shoes for a year, walking through the rain pretending I wasn't scared. Bills on the table, pressure on my chest, trying to convince myself tomorrow might be different than the rest. I had dreams bigger than my bank account, but every failure made the doubt get louder in my house. People told me be realistic, I almost listened. That's the part nobody tells you about losing. Sometimes the hardest person to convince that you're gonna make it is yourself. I watch people I believed in turn into people I couldn't trust. Watch promises become excuses, watch forever turn to dust. I saw friends become strangers, saw strangers become supporters. Saw the same people who ignored me suddenly asking for a quarter. Bro, remember me? Yeah, I remember you. That's why I don't hate you, I just don't need you. Cause I remember the version of me who would've begged you to stay. I don't recognize that man anymore, and honestly, I'm grateful. They only came when I won. Only called when I became somebody. Only showed love when the world showed love to me. Only stood beside me when there was something they could see. They weren't there when I lost, weren't there when I fell, weren't there when I fought my way out of hell. Now everybody says they're proud of what I've become, but you don't get to celebrate the victory if you abandon me during the war. They only came when I won. Mom asked me once why I don't talk about it. I said, because every time I do, I remember how much it hurt. She said, maybe that's why you need to. And I didn't understand it then, but I do now. Pain doesn't disappear just because you stop talking about it. Sometimes it hides inside the person everybody calls strong. That's why I smile differently now. I don't smile because nothing hurts, I smile because I've survived things I thought would destroy me. I sat alone with thoughts I couldn't tell anybody. I've questioned whether my dreams were worth the cost. I watched doors close while I stood outside knocking. I watched people choose convenience over loyalty. And every time I thought, maybe I'm not enough, but maybe I was never supposed to be enough for people who only love the version of me that benefited them. Maybe losing them wasn't the punishment, maybe losing them was the protect. I used to ask, why did everybody leave me? Now I ask something different. Why was I begging people to stay who already showed me they wanted to go? I stopped chasing empty friendships, stopped explaining what I feel, stopped giving pieces of my soul to people who wanted something real. I stopped needing validation from people who couldn't see, because the person only came when I won, only called when I became somebody, only showed love when the world showed love to me, only stood beside me when there was something they could see. They weren't there when I lost, weren't there when I fell, weren't there when I fought my way out of hell. Now everybody says they're proud of what I've become, but you don't get to celebrate the victory if you abandoned me during the war. They only came when I won. So let me tell you what winning really means. It ain't the money, it ain't the numbers, it ain't people screaming your name. Winning is waking up and finally liking the person in the mirror. Winning is sleeping peacefully after years of fighting your own mind. Winning is being able to say, I don't need revenge. Winning is watching somebody who hurt you succeed and realizing you don't feel anything. That's freedom. Winning is having enough confidence to walk away from people you once would have died trying to keep. That's growth. And winning is remembering the kid you used to be and telling him you weren't weak, you were surviving. And if nobody told you this today, you don't need the people who ignored your struggle to validate your success. You survived without their applause, you can win without it too. I know somebody listening right now who's sitting in the room alone. Everybody thinks you're okay, you're not. You've been carrying something you haven't told anybody. Maybe it's your father, maybe it's your mother, maybe it's somebody you loved who chose somebody else. Maybe it's your friends who vanished when you needed them. Maybe it's the dream you've been too afraid to chase again, and you're wondering what's wrong with me. Nothing. Sometimes life gets quiet before it gets better. Sometimes you're removed from people because you're being redirected. Sometimes the loneliness is where you finally meet yourself. I know it doesn't feel like it now, but keep going, please, because one day the same people who couldn't see you will see you clearly. And when they do, you don't have to hate them, just don't forget what the silence taught you. They only came when I won, only called when I became somebody, only showed love when the world showed love to me, only stood beside me when there was something they could see. They weren't there when I lost, weren't there when I fell, weren't there when I fought my way out of hell. Now everybody says they're proud of what I've become, but you don't get to celebrate the victory if you abandon me during the war. They only came when I don't know you an explanation, I don't know you a seat, I don't know you my time, because you finally learned my name. You had your chance, you chose distance, I chose discipline. You chose comfort, I chose pain. You chose to laugh when I was falling, I chose to stand when nobody was calling. So don't tell me you always believed in me, cause I remember every empty room, every unread message, every unanswered call. Every night I questioned whether I could keep going at all. I remember being overlooked, I remember being underestimated, I remember being told I'd never make it. And here's the beautiful part, you were wrong, but I needed your doubt to discover my determination. You thought abandoning me would make me disappear. You accidentally taught me how to survive without you. No, I'm not angry, I'm awake. There's a difference. Anger wants revenge, awareness wants peace, and I choose peace. I don't need you to regret it, I don't need you to apologize, I don't need you to come back, because the version of me you abandoned doesn't live here anymore. Yeah. There were birthdays nobody remembered, there were victories nobody celebrated, there were moments I wanted to scream, can somebody just ask me if I'm okay? But I learned to say, I'm good, even when I wasn't. And maybe that's why this song exists, because somebody needs to hear that being strong doesn't mean you never break. It means you don't stay broken. You can't cry, you can't miss them, you can't be angry, you can't admit that it hurt. Just don't build a home inside the pain. Use it as a doorway. Walk through. They only came when I won, only called when I became somebody, only show love when the world showed love to me, only stood beside me when there was something they could see. They weren't there when I lost, weren't there when I fell, weren't there when I fought my way out of hell. Now everybody says they're proud of what I've become, but you don't get to celebrate the victory if you abandoned me during the war. They only came when I won. If you've ever had somebody love you louder after you succeeded, I want you to remember this. They didn't love the journey, they loved the destination. And that's the difference. Because real ones don't just show up when the picture looks beautiful. Real ones sit beside you when the picture is falling apart. Real ones don't ask, "What can you do for me?" They ask, "How can I help you get through this?" So if somebody came into your life only after you started winning, don't be ashamed, you learned something. And if somebody stayed when you had absolutely nothing, protect that person, because loyalty is worth more than applause. Here's the question: who stayed when you had nothing? Don't tell me their name, tell them thank you, cause everybody remembers who celebrated the victory. Very few remember who carried them through the war. I'm building different now, slowly, quietly. No announcements, no explanations, no proving myself to people who already made up their minds about me. I'm not chasing attention, I'm chasing peace. I'm not chasing validation, I'm chasing purpose. I'm not trying to become somebody they'll regret losing. I'm becoming somebody I would have been proud to meet when I was at my lowest. That's the goal, not revenge, not revenge. Growth, I want the kid who once felt invisible to look at me and say we made it. And maybe that's what winning really is. Not making them jealous, not making them sorry, just becoming proof that their rejection wasn't the end of your story. So if you're still listening, maybe you're going through something too. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're wondering if anybody sees how hard you're fighting. I see you, not literally, but I know the feeling of laughing with people while your heart is somewhere else. The feeling of saying, I'm fine, because explaining the truth would take too much energy. The feeling of watching everybody move forward while you're trying to figure out how to get out of bed. Don't quit here, not here. This chapter isn't the ending, it's the part of the story where you become dangerous, because you finally realize you have nothing left to prove. One day you'll understand the people who left during your worst season made room for the people who will love you in every season. They only came when I won, only called when I became somebody, only show love when the world showed love to me, only stood beside me when there was something they could see. They weren't there when I lost, weren't there when I fell, weren't there when I fought my way out of hell. Now everybody says they're proud of what I've become, but you don't get to celebrate the victory if you abandon me during the war. They only came when I won. They only came when I won. But I remember who was there when I couldn't even save myself. I remember who picked up the phone, I remember who stayed, I remember who believed in For the rest, I wish you well, but you don't get access to the person you refuse to support. I used to think winning would make me feel complete. It didn't. Healing did, forgiving did, walking away did, learning to love myself did. So if they only came when you won, let them come, you don't have to open the door. Because sometimes the greatest victory isn't proving them wrong. It's realizing you don't need them to know you were right. I had nobody, so I became somebody I could depend on. They only came when I won. But I was already winning the moment I decided not to give up.